Welcome to GPS Tracking Academy, the drill down session, also our afternoon show. So before we get things started, I want to give you a little quick reference to where you're at and what you're watching. You're watching a program that we do every other Friday, with the exception of the Friday to follow 2 weeks from today. That's a holiday, so that one's canceled. But it's every other Friday, and we do these so that you understand better how to use our system, and you can ask us questions directly on some things that might help you use our system. So what you're looking at right now is a live stream. You're able to increase or decrease this video screen as you will. If you do increase it to full size, you will cover up the chat window, which is to our left. If you feel like you need to chat with us live while we're here, minimize the screen, chat with us, and then you can maximize it again and we'll answer your question for you. Also, you can play back the DVR feature if you missed something, and then catch up live if you need to. And at the end of this, we'll always post these to our social platforms so that you'll be able to watch them later on. That is, if our stream and everything goes perfect, we'll do that. So really quickly, I just wanted to let you all know that you can follow us on Facebook and like us on Twitter. Actually, that's vice versa. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. That's all right. You understand what I'm talking about. We would love to answer any questions you have directly through those platforms. You can also call our tech support. They're open from Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time, and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time. And that telephone number is 405-726-9900. So today's drill down session is called Historical Playback to the Future. So the historical playback to the future is just some play on words, but we really saw a need for us to focus on that. A lot of individuals and clients, they use our system and they see that historical playback, and they love the feature, but there's some additional stuff that we'd like to share with some people, some things that some clients were able to use the system uniquely, as well as some stuff that we've put into the system that you can use now, and allow you to really take advantage of this past 90 days to manage your organization in a better way, to be more efficient, and maybe even become a profit center for you. That's what we really hope for. So my name is Sam, and this is Brent. We'll be here for the next few moments talking about the historical playback feature, and let's get things underway.
Yeah, so with our system, one of our biggest emphasis is always live. Everything's updating, but there's also a big part with the history. Everything's stored as the vehicles are moving. Everything's stored, and then being able to access that information later is what's going to take it and make you able to increase, revenue in business, decrease efficiencies, and see all of that you need to. So it becomes a really valuable tool, outside of just being able to see your vehicles live. All of this information is what's going to let you really change how you use the system. And one of the best ways that I normally do it is in a mixture and a kind of in tangent to reports, in tandem. Using a report to find kind of a general area where I'm looking at, whether it's a start-stop report or a speeding report, and then using the historical playback to go back and really dig all the way down into it. That's the options that I like the best. Is it really lets me know what I need to look at. So with those reports, you can run, if you run a speeding report and you want to know, okay, someone's speeding at a certain time, they may have been that they were on a highway and you're not sure of it. You can go then to historical playback, select a device. It's really simple to use. So I'm just going to select this device. If we want to look at today, we can actually change the time. So if we wanted to start at maybe, let's go with 8 a.m. or let's go with 8 a.m., 6 a.m. That works. There we go. And there we go. And we click play there. Then we start right at 8 a.m. And we can move through there. Looks like he's actually not moving much since 8, so we'll find one here real quick that would be moving a lot more. Click done there. I know this one would be. So here we go. So you can see then that the vehicle is actually moving down the highway there on looks like the Gulf Freeway. And you can see everything there. You can pause it, so if something comes up that you want to take a little bit more of a look at, if it's the area that you're looking for, you can pause it and see that information. And you can speed it up, slow it down. So if we wanted to just go normal speed, you're going to be looking at with just play, and then you have your fast forward button here on the right, and your rewind button there on the left. So if you do need to go back, if you missed the spot, sometimes when I'm looking for changes, what I'll do is I'll actually go with the slowest, and then I'll pause it immediately, and I'll skip back, skip forward, and kind of see the change in those updates. So if I'm looking when a car wreck happened or anything like that, if I'm trying to help somebody, like a car was in a wreck and we want to know what the speed was like when they got in the wreck, we can find the exact points of that and see exactly what was happening between those two. If they said you ran a stop sign, ran a stop light, you can see right there where that happened. And you can see, okay, the car came to, it only slowed down to 7 miles per hour, or it didn't get down to 0, or even that it did get to 0. It looks like he stopped, and then his next update, he was only going 4 miles an hour, so he did clearly stop. So there's a lot that you can find out from it. It's just knowing what you're looking for that makes it the most beneficial to you. So using those reports, and when you get into those reports, knowing that, hey, I need to look a little bit more in this. Historical playback's the best way to really dive into it and see exactly what you're looking for and take action on it.
Let's show them the 2 buttons that are on the far outside of that are all the way to the beginning and all the way to the end of the time and date that we've selected there.
Yeah.
So go ahead and select one of those.
Yeah, so if we wanted to do that one, the one on the right's the skip to end of the day, and the one on the left is skip to the beginning of the day. So with right now, since this one's run for today, you can see that it's skipped all the way up until the last update, which is at 1:05, so just a little while ago. It looks like they're at the at George Bush Airport there in Houston, and you can see this. It's a pink line. It's fairly light, but you can see I'm kind of tracing it with my mouse there. You can actually see that entire line when you zoom out for the whole day. So you can see that he was stopped down here, and those stop signs will come up whenever the vehicle's on the hardwired ones, when it's turned it off and it's been there, turned the ignition off and been there for more than 3 minutes, or on the portable ones, whenever it was stopped there for more than 3 minutes, they'll show up.
Right.
So it makes it an easy way to know where they were actually stopped at, and then you can see the entire route that they have driven since that point in time. So it looks like they went up right into the heart of Houston and then out and all the way up to the airport.
So, and the stops could really show you where maybe some traffic hazards are that aren't necessarily seen right away. Maybe we could reroute this gentleman. Instead of going through the heart of Houston, maybe we move around Houston so that it maybe a little bit makes it more efficient as he moves through.
Yeah, I mean, with this one especially, I can look at this here, and think of a couple of ways where we may make it more efficient. Right now, I can see that his route was going through the center of Houston. I think Houston, I don't remember what it's called, but it's got this main highway that runs the loop all the way around it. But it may have been actually quicker for him to take the loop around. So, maybe instead of going this path to get all the way to the airport, it would have been quicker to actually efficiently get on just the main highway all the way around. So that's, I guess it's called the Beltway is what they're telling me. So now I know. But it's an easy way to kind of find those things. So you may see what somebody's doing that to them makes perfect sense on why they're doing it. But as a whole for what you're doing, it may make sense to make it a little bit better. Or if, so it comes from helping you in that side, or coming in where something does happen and you need to retrace steps.
Right. One of the most popular things that our clients use it for, when we talk about retracing steps, is that we've had our clients call us and tell us that thanks for your system, our number of windshields that we've had to replace has gone way down. Because a lot of times they'll just pull the system back up, play the historical playback, and find that their vehicle was not in the area that possibly threw that rock or whatever it might be at that certain time on that certain highway. I mean, how many vehicles out there are the white vehicles that a lot of folks have? So it helps companies really show where they were at a specific time.
Yeah.
So there's other features to that as well, but what we just covered right there was just the very basics of when you click on the historical playback tab on the control panel, what it brings up. Select the date, select the vehicle that you want to see, select the time that you want to see it, and then hit play, and you can scrub that. Another feature that we need to show really quick is the ability to scrub it back and forth, and you can grab that timeline and actually do that.
With your timeline, you can see that the actual time is depicted right here, and then you actually have the bar that shows as it's moving. So if I click on this red line here, I can actually drag it back to the time that I'm looking for, and then let's go back to just before noon. Oh, There we go. And if I release it, it's going to take me right back to that point in time.
And show you what's happened from the time you started the report to the time that you've just scrubbed to.
Yeah, and then you can start playing it from right there. So if I wanted to fast forward it, then I can just take it back to exactly where I needed it to go. And I can see all of that information. So right there I can determine. It looks like he was on the highway, going 76 miles an hour. And I can even zoom all the way in just to get a great idea of where it's at. And yep. So you can see right there on the highway doing 76 miles per hour. 13 satellites, ignition, is on, and you see the exact update time where it was at that moment in time.
Mm-hmm. Well, and one thing that we're seeing right here, because our system is really accurate, is that we're seeing he was on one side of the highway heading out, and now he's on the other side of the highway driving back into the area.
Yeah.
So it's showing you. It's not just laying it on the highway in general. It's showing you, and sometimes it's as accurate as which lane they're in.
Yeah. So you can see when he was coming back to that location he left for. You can see the line here. This is the historical trace that he was on, and then you can see as he's going out, we're putting that historical trace right behind him on that side of the freeway.
Right. So really quickly, I want to identify the pink line. That pink line, he said, we've called it a whole bunch of different things, so I want to add this in there to the vernacular as well. If you hear vapor trail, that's something else that we're talking about. So if you do call technical support and they mention vapor trail, it's that pink line. Or
Yeah.
the historical trace that Brent was just speaking of. So, Brent, what happens once we figure it all out and we're done with that? What do we do to get back to just regular live, the system, so we can see where our vehicles are?
So yeah, as soon as you're done, all you have to do is hit the done button here, and it'll take you right back to your live account, and you're out of that historical playback. So it takes you right back to getting into what you need to. So instead of having to say, okay, now I'm done with that, I've got to zoom back out, I've got to look for all my vehicles again. It takes you back out to the right where you have everything in front of you. And that way you're ready to start using any part of the system again.
Okay. So let's go to probably one of the more powerful features that a lot of our clients may not be aware of, and that's what we'll do is we'll set up a geofence alert. And the system that we're using, we can't really save anything because we're using a demonstration account. But what we want to do is set up that geofence alert and then run a historic playback report through our report system and show vehicles in and out of that area. So if, say you have 10 to 15 vehicles and you don't want to run that on that one certain day at that certain time, you want to run through every single one of those to find out who went through that area, you can run a report and find it. Let's dive into that a little bit. Yeah,
and since I can't create a zone on here, what I'll do is I'll show you the full steps though to get to it. So with that, you can go into your alerts here. You can create an alert, and you want to create a geofence alert. So say you wanted to create, with this driver, we know that he actually went through this location. So it may be as small as, say there was an accident there, it looks like 45 in the 10 connection. So I can make this zone as small as I want it to be and write my airbridge by dragging and dropping these. So say there was an accident here at this intersection on the highway, or a rock was thrown through a windshield like Sam was talking about earlier. I can set up that zone, and you can name it rock through windshield. And then once you save that, what you'll do is you'll go into I'll keep this one up just so you can see it, so that way it's still in the screen. We'll go back over here, we'll go to our report system. Since I can't save it, this is going to be the easiest way to show it. You go to your geofence activity report. That geofence activity report is going to give us the ability to search for history anytime that geofence was entered or exited, when it happened, what time of the day, and it's going to give us all that really detailed information to find out. Because most of the time if somebody says you broke my windshield, you're going to say when, what day. So you're going to have a really good idea. It may have been 5 o'clock yesterday. So for us, 5 o'clock on Thursday, we'll go to that geofence activity report. We'll hit run selected report. When we pull it up here, we can go with all vehicles. That's the best way, so you know that none of your vehicles could have done it. And right here, you'll have this drop down that says all zones. Since we don't have any zones, it just says all zones there. But once we add zones to it, I would see the rock through windshield zone pop up right there. I would select it, and then what I would do is I would change my date. So it looks like it's already got yesterday on there as the start time, but I don't want to see today because I'm not worried about where they were today. I just make the end date to yesterday as well. And I can even take this, even further down. So if they said 5 o'clock, we could do 4 p.m. here. And then we could do, let's say 6. Let's go to 7, just shy of 7 o'clock p.m. And then once I hit view online, it's going to pull any record of when they entered or when they exited that zone between those 2 time frames. So I'll know exactly which trucks entered or exited that zone during that time frame and exactly what time it happened. So it may be, since I've opened it up, it may be 4:05, and then you don't see another one happen until 6:30, and the driver's saying, I was there at 5 o'clock on the dot. You know that, it most likely wasn't your vehicle because no one's ever driven through there. And it also opens up that you can take care of it if it is your vehicle.
Right. If
something from your vehicle, you want to make sure that you're not just saying like, hey, we know it's not ours, but it's we're not sure how to do it. So if you did do it and you see like, hey, I had a driver right there at 5 o'clock, you know that most likely it was your vehicle, and you'd be able to take care of it and show that kind of customer service. But also at the same time, you don't want to be paying for stuff that you didn't cause.
Exactly. We've had clients use this and put a geofence around when they do deliveries at certain docks, and for some reason that they've got word back that the dock was damaged, and they wanted to know which vehicle it was at that dock, and they found out none of their vehicles were ever there at that dock and have never been there for like a week. And so they got back with that vendor that they were with, and they told them what had happened and that they had our system and that none of their vehicles were there. It was really funny how the vendor said, oh, it must be somebody else. So we hope that the historical playback can validate some information for you, as well as clear your organization's name if need be. We want to be able to help you be more efficient and be more effective with what you do. So is there anything else that you'd like to add about the historical playback?
Not really. The only other thing is, with the historical playback, you can go back as far as you have history, which is 90 days for everyone. So if I wanted to go back a month or so we'll go right back here to historical playback and we'll show what we can do. So say for that same vehicle, like we were talking about, changing the times. Let's say that I wanted to know what that vehicle did. Let's go with August 1st. We can actually do that right here. Oh, I didn't select the device that I was looking for. See, so it told me exactly what I needed to do, and I was able to take care of it. And then once I hit play again, we'll see what that vehicle was doing on August 1st. So as long as you have history there, you can go back as far as you want to. So which is standard is 90 days. So 90 days is what you'll be able to go back on your history for.
Yeah, which is the answer to one of our questions that came in. It's like, how far back can you go? The question was 30, 60, or 90 days, and 90 days is our standard. If you feel like you need more time, please contact your representative and that you've been working with, and we'll see what we can do about possibly opening up a certain time frame for you.
Yeah.
If it's not set up, we don't have that data. As you can imagine, we are live, so we are collecting a lot of data points throughout the day. So that's one way how we keep our costs down for you is that standard 90 days. But we have options if you'd like to discuss those with your representative. Just give us a call at any time. So I think that covers it, right? All right. So thank you all for joining us for Historical Playback to the Future. This is the GPS Tracking Academy, the drill down session. It starts at 1 p.m. Central every other week, with the exception of the 30th. October the 30th, we won't be here. We're observing a holiday that's coming up. So our office enjoys that holiday, so we're going to take a little bit of time. And you wouldn't necessarily want us sitting here in our costumes looking all silly. So please enjoy that time. We hope you have an enjoyable time during the holiday season. Also, we will be picking back up in November, so you'll receive an email about that probably maybe a week before the show, so you can get registered and figure out what you'd like to learn from us. So thank you for joining us again, for myself, Sam, and Brent, and our our folks in the back that are helping us produce this, and that's Megan and Brian. We really appreciate you being here. Most importantly of all, thank you for being our client. We hope that we're able to help you out. If for any reason that is not the case, we want to know about it as quickly as possible so we can correct it. So give us a call at our tech support line, and if that'll pop up on the screen really quickly, that's area code 405-726-9900. It's open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central, and on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yep.
You can also like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter through our social media platforms. And you can always catch our, once we get them all taken care of and cleaned up just a little bit, you can always catch our shows, excuse me, it took a lot to get that out, catch our training sessions on YouTube, and that's at youtube.com/US Fleet Tracking, and you can just go to the GPS Tracking Academy playlist, if you will. You can see all of those there. Also, remember that there are the blue check marks inside of our system that'll give you the screenshots of how to use a particular portion of our system if that's a little bit confusing for you. But we're always here to help you. You can also submit an email to training@usft.com, and we'll be glad to answer that there as well. So thank you again, and have a great afternoon.